or what has surprised you the most if you look back a year ago and in this entire journey? Has anything surprised you?
Yeah, I think I started off by trying to change a lot of things I was doing for years. And I was surprised that they didn't quite work. I guess I thought it will be more organic. And so I was surprised that I actually found that they made my convictions much stronger. So I discarded those extraneous ideas that I thought were so great at first and came back to my old ones.
So do you feel more like who you were before? You thought it was going to change you more?
Yes, I think, but it did change me. It just made me more convinced that it was my own choices. So I wasn't sure about my choices before. Yeah.
Great. All right, so we did have this question from John Martin on Facebook, which you sort of answered before, but I'm going to add to it, which is, what, in your opinion, is the most challenging piece by Bach on the cello? And then the follow-up question is, why?
Well, I was saying the last piece, the Saraband with all those notes. It's certainly one of the hardest. There's few very challenging movements, mainly in the last couple suites. I think the fifth is also really hard because there's a lot of stretches and because I haven't really learned it as a young kid, and things that we don't learn as kids sometimes are very hard to. You can't teach an old dog.
Are there pieces that are hard athletically that aren't hard musically?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say the sixth suite is easy musically, but it's certainly somehow easier in some ways than the first, even because there's so more notes. It's a more mature piece, and it's easier to understand where it's going. And the prelude of the first suite, for example, I really struggled with deciding which note should go with which tempo. The sixth suite, the tempo kind of was dictated almost by the piece, by the challenges of the piece. Yeah, if that makes any sense.
How is that possible?
Meaning you can't play something super quickly if you have 4 strings to break chords on. It's just not going to sound good. It's going to sound like a circus act. So in the first suite, you can do it super fast or super slow. It will still sound good, and maybe that's part of why it's such a popular piece.
Another question from the internet.
Yes.
From Nicholas Gold on Facebook. I'm curious about the recording setup. What mics and preamps were used, and how was everything placed?
Well, I can tell you, but then I'll have to kill you. Because, well, honestly, I don't exactly know. And this is a question for my producer, Dahong, which is not here tonight, but I will ask him. And but I'm not sure he'll want to say. I mean, those are kind of secrets of the profession, you know? Sorry.
As you went through this whole journey, did you ever think what I would ask Bach?
Oh, yeah. I would give anything. Okay, not everything, but I considered amputating my little toe if I could talk to Bach. And I even had fantasies about, like, what would I tell him and what kind of a big responsibility that is. I mean, you know, I don't want to let everybody down here if I ever meet him. So then I decided, you know, it's just better to just ask him to play and without talking. Just because he would probably be very intimidating, the German guy, you know, very, very smart.